I'm always having trouble with these intros. Can I hear you guys this time
Hey,
after the
the
intro?
intro
There we
didn't
go.
kick me today.
Aaron, you there? Oh, it looked like it kicked him.
But we can see you.
Yeah, let me try bringing him back in. Aaron, you there? See this thing? Go out and come back in. Disconnect and reconnect. Mm. Y'all about to get Restream about to get a what's the name for me?
You gonna give him a bad Yelp review?
Yeah, we're gonna get a bad review for me today. There we go. Let's see. Let's see what happens. And he's out. I hate. Welcome to the Saturday morning serial podcast, everybody. I'm sorry, we are having no technical difficulties um, with the intro. After the intro, for some reason, um, it doesn't like bringing my co-host back. Hey, Aaron, you there? You there? There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm here.
Okay.
Hey,
Welcome.
angry.
Right. Welcome. I'm Jacob. I'm joined by my partners in crime, Martez and Aaron. Don't call him Aaron, and he will turn green. We are the hosts of Saturday Morning Serial Podcast, and we review and react to your favorite video game news, TV shows, and movies. How you guys doing today?
I'm good, man, and excited and vindicated.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes, it was Agatha all along. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Yeah, definitely. So we can just get straight into it. Because today's gonna be not that quite a long episode, but we're going to get into episode 6 or the season finale for Loki, and which I think was an amazing episode within itself. It was just great across the board how they pulled us in, even though we kind of knew all along who it was at the end of the day. We knew that it was a Kang, a version of Kang that was controlling the timeline. But we just, but the way they introduced it and the way that they told that story was amazing. And the way the actor portrayed the Kang was great too. So let's start there. I mean, they went into the house and or they went
Jump
into the
scare.
mansion. Yeah,
This minute's jump scare.
yeah. Went into a jump scare. They had a really quick jump scare with the time cartoon thing, and she basically was trying to give them a deal that was like, hey, we'll give you guys everything you guys wanted. You guys can have your own timeline. You guys can rule this timeline, and you can have whatever you want. And Loki and Sylvie was like, nah, we straight. We don't. We just really want to go kill this dude and figure out why all this is happening. So they decided that they were just going to keep moving forward. Then they ended up coming to an elevator, and guess who shows his face? What's his name? What's his real name?
Well,
Nathaniel Richards.
that's
Yeah.
not an easy question to answer.
No. I mean the actor. The actor.
Oh, Jonathan Majors.
Yeah,
Jonathan
Jonathan
Measures.
Majors playing, which they say it's Aaron says it's Nathaniel Richards.
Nathaniel
Um,
Richards, aka Immortus.
Immortus, right? Or the one who remains, which they the one that they put in a comic book is basically the person that survived all of the major timelines or this timeline, the guy at the end of time, right? So he basically comes down with his amazing performance eating an apple, which is an Easter egg within itself, and um, and basically told him, "Come on, you guys, come on up. Let's talk. You guys made it, right?" And so going to the elevator, he's like, "Look, y'all can't do anything to me. I've been here waiting for you all the time." They tried swinging on him. He disappears and disappears out into his office. They come out. They're still on regular attack mode. And yeah, then he basically comes and tells the story about, "Hey, I know everything is about to go on, and because I've been here, I've been through all these timelines. I know everything that's going on. Period. So there's nothing that you can do. There's only two options: either you kill me, or you take over the timeline, or you guys could go back to the TBA and just work in my timeline, basically." And y'all know, obviously, they weren't going for that. So then Kang decided to explain his story, which is basically, um, I have been sitting here, or I've been on this timeline, and there's many versions of me, right, in each timeline, and he is the sane one, right? He's like, I am here just to make sure that this timeline goes well, so all the other Kangs that were fighting, that were more evil than me, don't come into my timeline and disturb this one, right? Because now I live in peace. And he decided to, um, take over that little shark monster while they were in the middle of the fight and devour all the other timelines. And so, and now he's just the one, last one there. And then he was like, and now, I mean, sorry, now he's sitting here and he's waiting for these two to make their decision. And after a certain amount of time, he doesn't know what's going to happen. They pass a threshold, which is like, oh man, I don't know what's going to happen past here. He was like, so he gave them an ultimatum. So you guys either leave, or, I mean, you guys either leave, go back, work for the TBA, or you kill me, and then the whole timeline's messed up. That means any Kang that could come in and do whatever they want after you guys get rid of me. And
Free will.
that's basically where we left off, because they made the decision to kill him. Well, Sylvie made the decision to kill him. She knocked Loki into another timeline that was already branched because of the information that was given. And now Loki's stuck in the timeline where Kang is one of the Kangs is the conqueror, and Sylvie's stuck. I don't know. I think she's stuck in that timeline, right?
No, that's Chrome Mariam. I'm not sure if I'm
Oh,
pronouncing it right.
mm-hmm,
And this is when they're going to announce. I have a good feeling they're going to say the next time we see Sylvie is in Quantum Manium, because that's where
mm-hmm,
that realm's at. It's in the
mm-hmm.
quantum realm,
Okay,
so she's stuck in the quantum realm.
all right.
So, and I wouldn't necessarily say she's stuck neither. I think she just uh recovering because she just culminated a centuries long mission
Mm-hmm,
and she's dealing with the ramifications of what she's possibly done. She has his device.
mm-hmm.
So she ain't exactly stuck. She's very smart. She'll figure it out. But what she needs to be figuring out is how to reinforce and get ready for the ride. Because
Yeah.
upon the moment that she made the decision that she was gonna kill him in her head, that changed everything. That
Mm-hmm.
decision, because like you said, when she pushed Loki through the thing, she hadn't even killed him yet. So that
Right.
means that her decision to do this already affected everything because
Right.
he got pushed into this new timeline that
Mm-hmm.
is vastly different than where they left.
Yeah.
And it's about to go down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So
because you dealing with you dealing with Mortis, aka Ramatut, aka Victor Timely, aka Iron Lad, aka Kang, aka the Whisperer,
Mm-hmm.
aka Scarlet Centurion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
It could
Mm-hmm.
be any of them iterations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except for probably Iron Lad because he is technically a hero. But
Right.
it opened the floodgates for so many ideas, and it shows why so many shows can deal with timeline now. So many movies is dealing with the timeline now, and it's all because of this. You know, this was
Mm-hmm.
the floodgate right here,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a lot of good stories, a lot of good possibility, and more importantly, interesting villains.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not just Kang, but people that he interacts with that are interesting villains. You know, this can lead to your Doctor Dooms and stuff because
Right.
Kang is Nathaniel Richards, who is a descendant way, way, way down the line of none other than Reed Richards.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking Nathaniel Richards, descendant of Reed Richards, Fantastic Four has to be involved in one way or
Mm-hmm.
another.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
yeah, and also from the comic book standpoint, yeah, that's great. But from a Disney standpoint, that works for them. Now they can pick and choose what Marvel movies prior to them buying them. They can actually pull them to the fold now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm sticking to my theory. Since Loki is over, we will get that trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home this week. because it's going to deal with the variants. That's, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be variants, Spider-Man variants. Jamie Foxx get that second chance.
Yeah, even the X-Men from Fox, they can be variants within themselves.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman was just talking to Kevin Feige last week, and he was smiling, so we know what that means. He got that dump truck of money.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, yeah. I mean, so what did you guys think about the performance? I think that, and
Jonathan
just from
Majors is amazing, bro.
yes,
He's
Good choice.
amazing, bro.
he's amazing. He was amazing with this character. I can't wait to see him in the movies because I think that he's going to be actually a different type. Like this Kang was basically one that's basically went crazy because he was sitting there for so long.
Yeah,
But
for
wait till you you actually meet the evil one, the one that's hungry, the one that wants to kill everything and conquer everything.
yeah.
Right?
He gonna flip that mode. He's gonna be more like a Shakespearean type,
Yes.
arrogant. Because his arrogance rivals Doom's.
Yes.
If not higher. So they on that
Mhm.
same type of they gonna see him and have that energy that they had with Immortus. Like, hey, this is you again. He could be like, that petty version of me is not who you dealing with.
Right. Exactly.
I kill
Exactly.
you and him.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
gonna have that big smoke energy. He like,
Mhm.
Sylvie, I kill you and him for the
Yep.
timeline
Yep.
I made. What's wrong with you?
Yep.
And something that got me too, he's more powerful than Thanos. Like he told them, I paved the road, you walk down it. Which means he
Yep.
let that happen.
Yep.
And with all the various timelines in the multiverse, Thanos is back too now. So problems.
Yep. Thanos is back in one of those timelines. Well, many of those timelines except for that one. But the crazy thing is that main timeline. Now we have to worry about the future of the movies, right? That main time, everything was in those main timelines that was in the MCU, right? So now, since we are going to have all these branches, are these branches going to intermingle with the main timeline now, or is it just going to be chaos because everybody's everywhere?
Well, here's the thing: is what's the main timeline now?
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah,
We
that
don't know.
makes sense, right?
It gives them unlimited creative control.
I mean, the Russo brothers also kind of gave us a hint way back when after Endgame came out. They said they will only come back if they're allowed to do 2015 Secret Wars. That comic. So,
Story.
and we all know that involves the multiverse and the various timelines.
So really good story too, man. It is. It's. I had my doubts before about certain, because comic books is crazy. We read they crazy, bro. But it's hard to bring some of that to the screen. But the Russos have showed time and time again that they know creative ways to bring some of those more outlandish stories to the screen and make sense. And then if it's something weird and strange, they play it as a joke.
Right.
Like the Thanos copter. It's played as a joke.
Yeah.
Frog Thor, played as a joke.
Fat Thor.
This Fat Thor. This is stuff that in the books that when we read is just books, there's issues of him being a frog. There's issues with the Thanos copter, Thanos going to jail with regular police arresting him. But they play it in this more realistic landscape comedically.
Right.
They pull it off. And this Secret War story is good, bro. Like,
and they still have the option to go down it, because remember, we still got to think about the things in this timeline. How many people actually scroll, right? You know what I mean, and things like that. So it's going to be so many possibilities just because of what happened.
what I'm banking on is getting my Illuminati.
You think you're going to bring Iron Man back? Because they need Iron Man for that.
Yes and no. I
need
don't
Black
know.
Panther too, so
you gotta have Iron Man and Black Panther.
Have a Black Panther. See, that's the difference. Like Black Panther, yeah, you gotta have Black Panther, but Black Panther is more of a mantle rather than a hero, right?
Well, I'll say T'Challa, because T'Challa was part of it.
Oh, okay.
Do you recast Chadwick Boseman?
Nah.
I think they will eventually.
I think they can get around that. like they can definitely get around that. They don't have to have T'Challa. They could just have a Black Panther. So you need Tony Stark though.
Yeah, and that's challenging. So,
Yeah.
um, but never say never, because um, as much as RDJ has said that he was done,
Hmm.
his last few projects ain't been working out,
Right.
and the writing's on the wall, bro.
Hmm.
Come get a bag, man.
Right.
Come get another bag.
Yeah.
It's nothing. The doors
Um,
is always open. They'll never say no to them.
Hmm.
I don't know.
So
His DC Comics project on Netflix did really well, so he might just stick behind the scenes doing producing.
Yeah. Yeah. But Jungle, what was it? Jungle Book? No, it was Doctor Doolittle. That's
Dr.
what it was.
Doolittle, that shit
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
That movie don't exist in my dojo. Giving a dragon an
He's
enema.
like, man, you
No
died for
thanks.
this. This is what you died for. This is what you going out on.
But back to Loki, though. Tom
Hmm.
Hiddleston, I'm quite sure Disney's about to come after him for saying this, but he revealed that What If will affect Phase 4 and other movies. That What If is pretty much the multiversal different branches.
Now it makes sense. When does that start?
That starts in August. So,
August. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Actually.
yeah, yeah. So I'm quite sure Disney's like, why did you say something?
I mean, people, like I said, it Loki was great, but it wasn't throwing us off too much like WandaVision did, right?
Mhm.
WandaVision threw us for a freaking loop. We thought we knew we was talking about everything, but no, they was like, no, we're gonna tell our own story here. They even changed the the ending recently just to keep throwing us off. You know what I mean? So um but anyway, like Loki was
Here we go.
was predictable, but I mean, it was predictable, but it was told very, very well. And they can only hide so much from us because comic book fans are nerds, right? They're gonna look into everything and overthink everything. So it's gonna be an amount of time to where it's gonna become like wrestling. Like they're gonna have dirt sheets. They're gonna, everybody's gonna be reading the dirt sheets, and then everybody's still gonna watch because they love the product, right?
Mhm.
So they just want to see how it's executed at the end of the day. And the way that this was executed was perfect. It gave us so they gave us amount of time within this episode to have us wait, give us suspense, give us comedy, but also he told us what was going to happen.
Yep.
Kang told us exactly what was going to happen. He basically spoiled the whole episode, right? And he told them like, look, Sylvie, you don't trust anybody, and Loki cannot be trusted. That's going to be what's going to happen with you guys. And that is exactly what happened. She wanted to kill Kang. Loki was like, wait. Maybe we should rethink this. She couldn't trust him. He couldn't trust, and he couldn't be trusted because he basically turned his back on her at the last minute, right? While Kang just sat there and watched everything go on, and that's the best thing for him to do, and that's the only thing he could do is just to watch everything happen, and then realize I'm gonna die anyway. So either I'm gonna die sitting in this chair, or I'm going to die by Sylvie's hand, and he
So,
died by Sylvie's hand.
so question time. Who's the bigger screw up? Star Lord or Sylvie?
Star Lord.
The answer, the answer is
Star
no.
Lord.
Now, and this is why. The answer is Star Lord technically, but at the end of the day, we realize now that Star Lord's actions were written by a black man. At the end of
Like it
the
was
day,
supposed to happen that way.
when it comes to Sylvie, I'm not mad at her at all the way I felt about Star Lord, and this is why. She was kidnapped as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she was a kid. And then for centuries, she's been on the run. She's never had a mom or a dad to raise her since that time. She's been on the run. She's been a fugitive from the TVA. So in her mind, she's still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She's centuries old, but she's still a kid. And she did what a kid would do. I want vengeance because you took my life away. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
give a damn what the consequences are. Has
Mm-hmm.
been my life's mission for centuries. Because as she said, she was pruned from her timeline and took to TVA before Loki in our timeline was even born.
Right.
So that's centuries.
Right.
Because Loki and Thor are around 9, 10,000 years old
Mm-hmm.
by the time the events of Avengers play out. So that means that she's been doing this for at least 1,000 years,
Right.
running and pruning and doing that. So imagine being 10 and you get kidnapped, and then from 10 to 10,000, all you've been doing is running and trying to get the opportunity to kill the person who did this to you. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, she killed him. Of course, she did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not mad at that, and she is devastated. You can tell by her reaction after it. She's like, I know I had to do it because I wouldn't have been able to move on, but now that I did, damn, now what? you
Mm-hmm.
know, and uh, she's gonna be instrumental. She's probably gonna sacrifice herself for the greater good, quote unquote, for all of this at the end of the day. But I'm not mad at her.
Mm-hmm.
I it wasn't a good idea. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a good decision. But I get why she did what she did, because it's easy to tell somebody to look at the greater good when you didn't suffer what they suffered.
hmm
It's easy for Batman to tell, somebody, you can't kill criminals, let them live, when this criminal wasn't responsible for putting your daughter in a wheelchair, for example.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you can tell Jim Gordon all day, no, you can't kill the Joker. And Jim Gordon's like, well, he didn't shoot your daughter and put her in a wheelchair. So you
Right.
don't feel what I feel, Bruce.
Right.
And that's the same thing that Sylvie was looking at, Loki. He didn't do to you what he did to me. Yeah, he made you lose a bunch of times, whatever, but that's because you're an asshole.
Right.
you know.
Right.
So, hey, now Star Lord, he's just stupid, bro.
Yeah, he was just emotional because he was an emotional kid. He was an emotional adult, and he lost his love of his life that he worked so
But
hard for.
with that being said, he kind of has the same thing that she does. Granted, not nearly as long of a time, but he
Right.
was he
Yes.
was taken as a child. He
Yes.
wasn't raised. He was
Mm-hmm.
he was through in a group of fucking Ravagers.
Ravagers. Yeah.
So he don't know good. He don't know common sense and
Mm-hmm.
like the greater good. All he knows is
And
his
you're
own
stuck on
selfish.
Titan.
He's
You're
stuck
stuck
on
on the
Titan.
planet. You don't even know if you're going back. Like, you know what I mean? And last time you saw your girlfriend, Thanos took her. Next time you see is Thanos, and she's not with him. Like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
Right?
what she? Hey,
The
what?
the only thing I just killed my dad for this girl. You know what I mean? And now and I lost my best friend, in the meantime, and now I'm stuck on Titan, right? Without my girl. And you're her dad and she's gone. So yeah. He had a reason,
I
but he
done
could have
lost
just
two
calmed down a little
daddies.
bit.
I done
Right.
lost two daddies. Okay, I killed one of them myself, and the
Right.
other one killed himself to save
Right.
me,
Right.
and let me know he loved me for the first
Mm-hmm.
time. Then killed
Right.
himself.
Right.
I ain't got nobody now.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I gotta kill you, bro.
All he got
I
is
can't.
Thor. That's all he has. He just has Thor now. That's all he's got. So oh, he's got family too, because
All right, down. All right, down.
he got his family. So back to Loki. So there is a season 2, right? So, and
Yeah.
obviously Loki is going to be in the movies too, probably going to be in the multiverse movie. But um I have two questions. First question is, how is all this going to be fixed? And this is basically just speculation, but how do you think they're going to fix this? Because it's it's multiple possibilities now, and now that one Kang isn't in control, even if they go back in time, the other Kangs are going to know exactly what's going to happen.
You say you don't. You just keep going.
Easy answer is
Mm-hmm.
not neatly, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Um, chaos and
Mm-hmm.
control chaos, but chaos
Mm-hmm.
is it's going to be a thing. I ain't gonna say it's not gonna be a problem. It's just gonna be a thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
like there'll always be the idea of one of his variants looming over everything as a possible villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it was in the books. You
Yeah.
never knew. Anytime a new villain showed up, you was like, "Damn, that could be Kang,"
Mm-hmm.
because it could have. It could have been. He. That's the thing when it comes to people who can go through time. It's hard. He is like every bit of what Zoom was to DC.
Mm-hmm.
You never knew if you really got him because he can go
Mm-hmm.
through time, and he's really, 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 really smart.
It
He's
depends on which Kang you're going after too. Because if you just think about all the variants of Loki that was in there, right? There's a lot of variants depending on the timelines of Kang, and all of them do totally different things. All of them have different levels of wisdom, right? Because of the different, way things happen, or just because the way different timelines flow, right,
yeah,
and different decisions that they make. So the war that they had at the end of time made sense, right? And that all the kings had at the end of time made sense. If you look at it, and if you want to try to picture it, just remember the Loki fight in episode 5. Was it 5? Where all the Lokis had that fight. Just picture all the kings having it, but it's just a little bit smarter and way more cosmicer, right? Because they had different timelines. They all wanted to control the same place. So now that those other kings can show up, now it's going to be different because, yeah, like you said, which king are we going to be trying to we're going to be dealing with this time. And um yeah, and there is an almighty king, and the one that remains, they said that for a reason, because that was in the comic books the last king that remained, period, out of all of them, right? And only thing is that he didn't see his demise. He was actually way stronger than all the other Kangs. But I think for this timeline, they wanted to show that he was basically defeated. Right? He was the strongest out of all of them because he did defeat all the timelines. But he just wanted to, for this one, he looked pretty weak, just because they could just go up and stab him. But he was actually very, very strong. Very strong.
the thing about Kangs when it comes to quantifying power. Their power is not traditional in a Thanos or Hulk or Thor type of way. Their power comes from knowledge and technology.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
he's from the 31st century,
Mm-hmm.
and it's he did what Booster Gold tried to do.
Mm-hmm.
he took this technology and superior knowledge and used that to have just technology that can mimic powers, that can mimic ability, that makes them vastly superior or on par with just about anything that we've seen already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
So
back to your question of how do they fix this, another thing about they're probably not going to fix it because what people keep overlooking, there's one character, one key character that they're introducing in the Multiverse of Madness. And that's America Chavez. You know what
Mm-hmm.
her ability is. She literally punches holes in to get to one multiverse to another.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so she's going to be a very, very big character that's going to be really pivotal for future Avengers movies.
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
and there is hope. It seems hopeless, right? It seems hopeless in a lot of ways, but when you think about timelines and stuff like that, it's two things you got to remember. And it's a bigger threat looming that hasn't really been mentioned. I'm gonna get to that though, but one, for every timeline you got heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So you got multiversal Avengers, quote unquote. You got Thors, you got a bunch of Caps, you got a bunch of
But you also have
Avengers.
evil versions of them.
You do, and that's
Yeah.
important too. And that
Mm-hmm.
can lead to some really good stories as well. Also, you have Beyonders, which we
Mm-hmm.
haven't touched on yet, but
Mm-hmm.
Beyonders are ridiculously powerful,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to the point where they are and do pose a serious threat to him
Mm-hmm.
and his rule.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, you have the two most powerful beings in the multiverse because it's only one version of both of them, and that's the Living Tribunal and the One Above All.
Mm.
We're probably never going to see the One Above All in the MCU, or it'd be like Phase 6 or something.
Right.
We'll be sending our kids to college,
Right. Right.
or they'll be coming back to visit from college with kids or something. But
Right.
um, the Living Tribunal, who we saw a hint of in that episode of Loki, because like I said, that's not the actual Living Tribunal's head, because there's only one that exists. There's only one Living Tribunal. There's not one for every universe. There's one that proceeds over the multiverse,
Mm-hmm.
and he is ridiculously powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And Kang would have to address that because if he's doing all this stuff, he's ran into him before.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Thing, what the hell are you doing? You know, what you doing with all this stuff? You know, I'm supposed to preside over this. Kang's power is technology and knowledge, but the Living Tribunal's power is power.
Yeah, it's cosmic power. Yeah.
It's so
Mm-hmm.
Kang can't be doing this without permission, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote permission. And the one above all and the Living Tribunal have allowed this. So, and this is twice that they've mentioned the Living Tribunal because they mentioned them in Doctor Strange with Mordo's weapon, and
Right.
then we see the statue of them. So you
Right.
know that they
Yeah,
exist.
Right. Oh, one
yeah,
thing too. Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
yeah. I was gonna say with the Living Tribunal and with everything that's going on, that just leads me to another theory. That's why we only got one trailer for the Eternals. What other than Thanos can make them come out of hiding? A
That is
multiversal screw
yes,
up.
yes, and that is my next point. Now we can get the best of every character. Now, because there's multi timelines, the Eternals don't have to be from our timeline now. The Eternals can actually be from another timeline without a Thanos, right? So they don't have to answer that question.
They don't if they don't want to.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with like Shang-Chi, right? The whole Shang-Chi timeline can be a totally different timeline, and now they're pulling him from the best timeline. You know, the best version of himself. Same thing with Spider-Man. Same thing with everybody else. They can pull the best versions of each character out of every timeline, and they don't have anything to do with anything
Pleasure.
happening on this
Thank
timeline.
you.
Think about Daredevil. Think about Luke Cage. Think about all the other people that they could bring in now because of its multi timelines. You don't have to look at the past stuff. We could just start here, or you can look at the past stuff and they didn't interact with everything. It's just now we're pulling the best versions. They can pull Quake now, right? They can pull everything that they want, even from people from Agents of Shield, because now they can pull from different timelines
And
in this universe.
since we have our unofficial bringing the Deadpool to the MCU now, based on that
Mm-hmm.
trailer,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
it explains a lot of the acquisitions that they made being
Yeah.
just abruptly brought into the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, oh yeah, variants. That's gonna
Yes.
be the new word,
Variance. Yeah.
variant.
The
Variance.
variant.
Variance is the new Inhuman.
No, no, don't. But we can fix them. We can rebuild them and make them stronger now.
Stronger,
Right.
faster,
The
better.
Inhumans can be fixed now.
Yes.
And if they really want, because it's just simple. It's an easy solution. In this universe, they're called Inhumans, and it's based on a Terrigen mist. Blah blah blah. In this universe, it's mutants.
Yeah.
Well, I
Right.
wouldn't say that. I would still keep them Inhumans because that's the main thing about the X-Men down the line is the war
Yeah.
because the Terrigen Mist hurts the mutants.
Yes.
So
Ironically,
yeah.
I what I would do is I would go
damn
I would
Celestials.
go timeline route. There's a timeline where Inhumans were basically abundant, right? And they basically won the timeline war, or they won in their timeline to where they are ruling everything in their land, right? Things get mixed up. They come out now. It's X-Men versus Inhumans. You know,
Mhm.
mutants versus Inhumans. You know, there's plenty of possibilities that can happen. So yeah,
Stakes.
mistake.
You
So
see,
what do you guys think season 2 is now obviously it's probably too far down to predict, but what do you think season 2 of Loki is going to be like?
Cleanup.
Clean up?
yeah, yeah.
You-
I look at Loki season 2 like I looked at Iron Man. It's the setup because
Mhm.
Loki 2 comes out before Ant-Man Quantumania. So whatever
Uh,
happens in Loki season 2, it's going to be direct fallout in Ant-Man.
do you think you think because you think it's gonna be longer episodes, and I think it'll probably go. I think it's gonna go 8 episodes, and I think it's gonna be. Do you think it'll be like Legends of Tomorrow a little bit, to where they're just going around and fixing timelines?
Or something of that nature. I think it's going to be very much like the follow-up season of Supernatural. I think it was season 3, and spoilers for Supernatural if you've never seen it. After 15 years. So
It's
on
going
one
to stay
season,
for 15 years.
in one season, Sam and Dean they opened the gates of hell, and they unleashed a bunch of demons.
Mm-hmm.
and that was the end of the season. The next
Mm-hmm.
season was consequently them finding all these demons and shutting them down, sending them back to hell. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think this is going to be. This season ended with Sylvie messing up the timeline, and next season is going to be all about trying to rectify that, or at least get answers,
Mm-hmm.
so they can start to try to fix it in the next season. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be serious, and I think that if they really throw money at it like they've been doing, it could be super interesting because
Mm-hmm.
with the variant thing, that's what's so great. You can bring MCU people into there and have all kinds of interesting stories. You know, you can throw any MCU character into this story that you want and do whatever you want with them, and just say, "Oh yeah, that was a variant."
Mm-hmm.
And that, and it can be lazy, but
Yes.
the way that they do it and the way that the Russos and the Marvel writers get down, it never is. Because they fans. They like us. You know, they're
Yeah.
us.
Think,
They're
think
fans.
think about Shang-Chi. Like, and we saw Abomination, right? That can be a variant of Abomination, right? So it's probably not who we think it is, even though he did look sick in in Black Widow.
He wasn't
But
doing too good.
yeah, but it could have been just a variant in that timeline of Abomination, and that's what he is basically was. He's basically the Hulk on Planet Hulk for that planet, to where he was just fighting in tournaments. So,
Yeah, I think they might be going in a more action or more sci-fi type of realm in season two because the current showrunner, Kate Herron, she announced that she ain't coming back for season two. So I'm
mm,
hoping Michael Waldron gets elevated because he wrote the episodes. I hope he gets elevated to head showrunner, but that
hmm
might be too much because Kevin Feige said that he let out that he is helping write shape the entire MCU, not just Loki now, and it's
okay,
fitting. If they're going down that route, what better than getting a experienced writer that worked on Rick and Morty?
right. Yeah, because I mean, he told this story so great. Like, this was not the number one Marvel show that I've seen on Disney Plus. Like, just because of the storytelling, it had me pulled in. I didn't want the episodes to end, and it made me want it more. Right? It had me in emotionally. It had me in, it had my mind going crazy because I'm like, damn, this different timeline stuff and the way that they're talking is just it's confusing, but smart at the same time and very interesting, and it just makes you go look at everything like, shoot, he
it,
basically wrote all this
it,
stuff.
and
Like,
it, his
he
writing
made all this stuff happen.
is fantastic because it makes you question things. Makes you
Yeah,
question things that you thought you had an answer for.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
one thing that my boy, and I'm just calling him Immortus now because
Hmm.
his outfit even, right? So
Yeah,
Immortus, when he was talking to Loki and Sylvie, he said something that people seem to forget because it's easy to forget when you've had 5, 6 episodes of these people being
right.
badass and rooting for him. He looked at Sylvie, he was like, "Grow up,
Hmm.
murderer,
Right. Yeah,
tyrant,
yeah,
liar, killer.
yeah.
Y'all are not good people. Who the fuck are
Hmm.
y'all to sit here and judge me?
Hmm.
I can
Right.
start writing and listing off stuff that you did. You took a dude
Yeah.
Loki. You took a dude just so you could get into a vault. Come on,
Right.
don't even do that. How many TVA agents you done killed, Sylvie?
Right.
Because the
Hmm.
writing is so good that you rooting for these people and
Yeah.
forgetting that
Hmm.
X amount of movies ago you was hoping to watch him get his ass beat.
Like
Yeah,
power, like power. Like, we whole time we're rooting for the bad guy, and we're rooting for the police to die. Like,
You rooting for the police to lose against the
right?
against the bad guy. It's
Like,
just like
please
that.
don't let him go to jail. Please don't let him go to jail. God damn it, he got caught. Damn it, he's in jail. Yes, he's out. Yes, he's murdering more people.
It's like that. That's what happened when you got good writing, and
Hmm.
then other stuff that's morally questionable. That's what I'll
like
say.
Yeah,
Snowfall.
Morally,
yeah,
like
Snowfall.
Snowfall, it,
Hmm.
it's morally questionable. People say, is it weird that him and Sylvie love each other?
It's self-love,
Is
man.
it? Is it weird?
It's
Because
it's called self love, man.
it's
It's called
called
self
self love.
love.
But when you get down to brass tacks, right? What makes a person a person? Their
Their
experience and
physical,
their
yeah, yeah,
memories,
yeah. Hmm.
right? And that's what makes a person is they experience
Hmm.
their memories. So they technically, even though they're variants of the same person, they're different people. You
Right.
know, I wouldn't recommend having kids with yourself because who knows what kind of messed up shit could come from that.
But just think about the deep. There's deeper meanings there, right? Loki never loved himself. He always wanted to be a part of something that he felt like he was never a part of, right? He
Right.
wanted to be part of the family of Thor and his dad. But the thing is, he wasn't Asgardian, right? He was set there, right? He couldn't be self-fulfilling. He always wanted to fulfill other people's needs, right? To try to fill his hole in his heart, right?
Solid.
Sylvie is the same way. And what is the best way for you if you don't love yourself to love yourself is to love another version of yourself, right? So that's the deeper meaning with the, at least that's what
It's well
I pulled
played.
from it.
I
Yeah.
think so too. It was well played,
Hmm.
and it's also funny because on the joke side, you be like, damn, the only person Loki could ever love was himself.
Yes.
But on a deeper, more sociological tip that you just hit on, yeah,
Hmm.
that's actually it's like looking in a mirror, but it's a
Hmm.
different reflection
Yes. Hmm.
and almost seeing what you could be
Right.
and loving the idea of that. And
Right. And we have to remember Loki's asexual or whatever you call it, to where he doesn't have a type, right? No matter what it is, he can fall in love with it. If it was a cup full of beer and you fell in love with it, that's what he will love.
the
So
stout, oh, the
He's
yeah.
stout is so sexy.
Hmm.
pansexual.
Pansexual. Sorry.
That's
Yes.
sexy.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
So yeah.
he let I just simplest terms because you start talking about pronouns and all that shit. He he'll bang anything. I just
Right.
keep it
Yeah.
simple.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
he feeling it, damn that cow, bro. Like
Right. That lizard Loki,
that lizard,
something
man.
doing. But yeah, so all right, so that's where we're at. We did have a little announcement with Deadpool with the Rock dude from Thor, which
Cool.
was funny. Yeah, they so Deadpool is going to be part of the MCU. Obviously, they are
Rated
going to
R.
have a rated R movie, so they are continuing where they left off just in the MCU, which is amazing and what everybody wanted anyway. So
And sorry for those, Blade will still be PG-13 because you can't do that for a future Avenger. Because he
mhm.
will be part of the Avengers with
Yeah,
Doctor Strange leading
yeah, yeah.
it. I know.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Looking at Tess like that. This ain't right.
Says I still think it's gonna be a good movie though.
I mean, it's Mahershala Ali. He don't know how to
Right,
make bad movies. He
right.
makes movies that are okay-ish better.
Hmm.
So
He made Luke Cage. He I'm glad that they put him as Cottonmouth and Luke Cage because he made that show. Luke Cage would have been corny as hell without Cottonmouth, and they killed him off in the sixth after in the middle of the season. Spoiler alert. But
I
yes,
mean, it's okay because he's just a variant of Blade.
yes, there you go. And now you can that's the way you explain things too. So
hmm
yeah,
But
he's a vampire Brooklyn.
touching on a movie that has absolutely nothing to do with comic books. If you ever seen Moonlight,
Hmm.
uh, phenomenal, bro.
Hmm.
Mahershala
Hmm.
Ali is just he's great. He makes every scene he's in better,
Hmm.
so he can carry a PG-13 vehicle.
Hmm.
But why would you want to, bro? It's vampire. I mean, you can get away with it because it is vampires, and vampires turn to dust when you kill them, so you can avoid blood.
I think
And but come on, man.
I think at the end of the day, you have to get into a darker, more rated R version of the MCU if you're going to go down the dark road of the dark Marvel universe, right?
and that's where Deadpool comes in. I think that's Deadpool's a guinea pig again.
Yeah.
Deadpool's a guinea pig for Fox, and now
Hmm.
they're a guinea pig for Disney for R-rated
Yeah.
movies.
And Disney gonna see because Disney only care about one thing, and that's the dollar sign.
Hmm.
And when they see that this Deadpool R-rated vehicle makes bank, they're gonna be like, "Oh, damn! People do go spend money to go see R-rated movies," and then they
Yeah,
probably open up.
yeah,
Here's
because
hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was kind of treading the line there. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's many bodies that got dropped in that show, and
Yeah, and that's
swearing.
what I said. You could do it rated R, but just do it the right way. You don't have to do nudity. You do
Mhm.
gore and stuff like that, right? And things like that. And really, at the end of the day, if you say the F word 3 times in a movie, it's
Twice.
automatically rated R. Or is it twice? Yeah, it's
Yep.
automatically rated R, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to have everything it takes to where a kid can't watch it, right? A kid under 17. So yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
and
it's a slippery slope when it comes to the ratings board, bro, because it's a lot of factors. Darkness, and I ain't talking about tone. Literal darkness in your film is grounds to raise your rating up.
Hmm.
yeah, the
So
atmosphere.
it's a lot to it, and I'm gonna be interested to see how they maintain the PG-13 with a film of that type and what it's about.
Well, he ain't
But
gonna say the F word more than twice.
Same
that
thing with the TV rating system, because I got a feeling Moon Knight is probably going to just be on the edge there for Disney
especially
Plus with the
you
rating.
dealing with mental health, that's another one of them things that automatically tick you up a little bit. And Moon Knight is crazy as cat shit. He There's something wrong with him. He Punisher crazy. You
Right,
know what I'm
right, yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
But
And he's rich as Bruce Wayne.
he's got a condition.
All right. So
Uh,
before we end today, you guys got anything else?
Excitement.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, and their early reviews came out for Suicide Squad. So far, it's getting thumbs up.
Looking
Okay.
forward to that too.
So,
Yeah, me too.
Um, because I trust James.
Hmm.
mhm.
I do. He's who I'm putting all my ducks on ever since I lost faith in Joss Whedon
Hmm.
because he broke my heart. Okay, so him and guys like James and this new wave of directors, bro, who are just kind of amazing, bro. Like we got some
Hmm.
good folks out there. Back in the day, you only had like a handful of directors. You had like your Spielbergs and your Kubricks and stuff like that. And now we got like a bunch of people who make good movies. It's like,
Hmm.
yay,
Hmm.
fucking do
Hmm.
that. Let's keep that up.
Especially comic book movies. I would never thought back in the day, before Iron Man and before Blade, I never would have thought that. Well, it's around Blade time. I would never thought that we had this many good comic book movies in a row. Now they just got to get video game movies right. So
Actually, there's a good one that came out that I wish came out in movie theaters, but the Wolf Inside. I can't remember what it's called, but it's
Wolfenstein.
a Wolf. That's a indie game that they turned into a movie.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, I'm talking about a mainstream game like Gears
yeah,
of War. Tomb Raider. You know what? Tomb Raider wasn't that bad. Just the actor you had to grow on you, but Tomb Raider was not that bad of a movie.
Werewolves Within. That's the name of it.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Tomb Raider was okay to me, but it wasn't as
I
bad as
didn't hate the Angelina Jolie, well, the first one at least. I
right.
didn't hate the Angelina Jolie movie. It suffered from the time that it came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
No.
But
But the second one should be good.
the
Yeah.
new one, if you play the Tomb Raider new game and watch the new Tomb Raider movie, they're about the same, right? So yeah. But that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're
It's
supposed to be making a Gears of War movie that which has been long awaited. But I think it's actually a show though. So but Borderlands. I don't know. I don't know how cheesy that's going to be, but Borderlands looks interesting too. Kevin Hart's going to be in that one. So hopefully they make it good.
Playing the tallest character in the damn game. Look at him. Look how tall
Yeah,
Roland is, and
yeah,
don't
yeah.
match Kevin Hart's size.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the problem I think with video game movies is average video game is like a 6 or more hour experience on average. Some games are shorter, some games are shit ton longer, and
Mm-hmm.
you got to condense that down to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Or
very
just make
difficult.
it a series. That
Make
guy,
it a
like,
show. I think it's
yeah,
better to make it a show.
yeah, make it a
You know,
show because you could tell like the whole Gears of War first game in 2 seasons,
Mhm.
right?
Oh,
So yeah.
well,
and
at
it's
least
supposed
I
to be
got a good feeling. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you good. Go ahead, bro.
I was saying, at least we got a good feeling that Borderlands is going to be rated R because if you know the director, yeah, Eli Roth from Hostel and all those
Mhm,
movies.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
They
All right.
they supposed to be making a Mass Effect movie, and
That's gonna be really interesting.
I can't even get excited because you realize how long those games are, how much lore there is, how much
Yeah,
storytelling it is.
and they're
Uh,
gonna dumb it down like crazy. That's why they need. If they're gonna do that, they need to make it into a show. If it
let's
has
talk.
more than one game, make it to a show.
I
If
don't
you want
know.
to just talk about pure story, right, without side missions or all that, you condense in 20, 40, 60 hours, right, for 3 games into a 2 hour film, 2 hour film, 2 hour film. So you condense 60 hours to 6 hours.
And it's not gonna be Shepard. It's gonna have to be a totally different person. Because remember, that story depends on what we choose. If
Your
it's going to
choices.
be good or bad, right? So it's basically going to be a lore story.
Unless they lost the rights, I don't think if Disney's going to do it because Fox had the rights to Mass Effect, and Disney bought Fox, so those Mass Effect movie rights went to Disney, and I think they got too much on their plate to proceed with Mass Effect. If anyone who's smart over there, which is a lot of people, read up and see what Mass Effect is, and realize they got like Star Wars, you got Marvel, and now you got Mass Effect that's really big. It's like, do we really want to do this right now?
No,
Definitely
not right
not.
now.
I agree. Definitely not. Now, granted, you know, with the exception of the Mandalorian and some other side projects, their Star Wars stuff as far as film is, what it is. So they could jump into another sci-fi epic right now, but I definitely wouldn't, considering everything that just jumped off with the MCU. You got a lot on
Right.
your plate.
Yeah.
You need to focus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
Especially with the
unless
TV shows too.
unless TV and movie rights go back to EA Games, I don't think Disney's gonna do anything. They're just gonna sit on it until something happens to Star Wars. If that implodes, then they got to back up.
Well, let a good movie come out for a video game, then it will probably be on their uh, on their waiting list because obviously Iron Man came out and then superhero movies just start coming out like crazy because they got one good one. So let's get one good superhero show. I mean, video game show, and then or video game movie, and hopefully they'll get the ball rolling on that.
and just keep Uwe Boll the hell away from it completely.
Yeah.
Just
And
don't
and
trust.
and and Paul W.S. Anderson. Keep both of them far away.
Oh
Yeah.
no, he's too busy with Monster Hunter. Apparently, they got picked up for a sequel. So
Well,
Well,
maybe that's what we're waiting on. Maybe that's because I haven't seen it. Or obviously,
okay, so Monster Hunter is like Resident Evil with monsters. I'm just not gonna. I'm just going to be Western, to be frank with you.
and you know why?
Yeah, I know why. And they wasted Tony Jaa. I just
Americans
and
don't know how to use him, bro.
right,
Because
yeah,
Fast and
yeah,
Furious, and I love the franchise. They wasted him too.
yeah, they wasted him. Right.
You know.
Well, now that I'm depressed on that note, thank you guys for watching. Remember that we're live every Saturday morning, like a 90s cartoon. Don't forget to like this video if you're watching on YouTube. It really helps us out. And subscribing too. If you're listening to us on Spotify or any other platform, follow us. Comment anywhere that you see us on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate all of your guys' help and all of you guys supporting. This is our 20th episode, so I want to thank you guys for getting that far with us. So
Thank you.
appreciate you guys, and see you guys next week. Peace out.